Today, we're going to talk about something that might be quietly holding your marketing back. We're going to challenge a core belief and dive right into what's called the search attribution trap. So, let me just ask you this right up front. What if your most important go-to metric is actually lying to you? Seriously, what if it's hiding the real story of how your customers are really finding you? It's a huge question, and honestly, the answer could change your entire strategy.
Okay, let's get right into it. Here's the core issue. Search marketing, Google Ads and all that, it almost always looks like the hero. It gets all the credit for the sale, for the conversion, for the win. But what we're going to do today is pull back the curtain and show you the unsung heroes, the channels that are actually doing the heavy lifting.
And that brings us to our first big point. This whole misunderstanding really just boils down to two simple ideas: intent versus influence. Search is an absolute pro at one of these, but it somehow gets all the credit for both. Let's break this down because it's super important. Influence is the spark. It's that first moment someone even hears about you. Maybe they see an ad on streaming TV, hear your name on a podcast, or watch an online video. Intent, on the other hand, is the final action. That's when they've already decided to buy and they just Google your brand. See the difference? Search didn't create the customer. It just helped them walk through the door. To make this crystal clear, let's just walk through a super simple customer journey. Picture this. Someone sees your ad while they're binge watching their favorite show. A few days go by and then they hear a podcast host they really trust talk about your brand. That's it. The decision is made. They pull out their phone, Google your name, and click buy. Search was just the final logical step, not the whole journey. And that leads us perfectly into the second major problem. The whole reason search gets away with this is because of a flawed, kind of old school way of measuring success. The main culprit here is a thing called last touch attribution. Basically, it's a model where the very last thing a customer clicks before they buy gets 100% of the credit, no matter what happened before that. It's simple, yeah, it's clean, and it's almost always wrong because it totally ignores the customer's real story. The best way to think about how ridiculous this is to think about baseball. A closer comes in for the last 3 outs and gets the save. But what about the starting pitcher who was amazing for 7 innings? Or the fielder who made a game-saving catch? Giving all the credit to that last action just ignores all the hard work that made the win possible in the first place. And when you actually see it visually, the imbalance is just stark. The setup team, that's your content, your brand ads, your social media, they do the vast majority of the work. The closer, in our case, search, just handles that final, predictable step. When you see it this way, basing your whole budget on that last touch seems pretty wild, doesn't it? So why does this all matter so much? Because this isn't just some academic marketing debate. It has real, actual consequences for your company's growth. And that brings us to our third and final reason. You're probably ignoring your hidden growth drivers. Just think it through. If you give search all the credit, you're probably going to give it all the budget too. And that means you automatically underinvest in the channels that are actually creating your future customers. You end up devaluing all the hard work your streaming TV ads, audio campaigns, and online videos are doing. You're basically starving the very players who are setting up all your future wins. Okay, so we've laid out the problem pretty clearly. Now let's talk about the solution. And it really does require a big shift in how we think, a move beyond that simple, easy-to-track last click. Now, let's be super clear. Nobody is saying search is unimportant. Of course not. It is absolutely vital for capturing demand that's already out there. The key, though, is just realizing it's not the full story. Search is the final chapter, but your brand-building channels are writing the whole novel that gets you there. And right here, this is the new mindset. This is the goal. True modern measurement is all about connecting the dots across the entire journey. It's about understanding how that first time someone saw your ad on TV or heard you on a podcast eventually led to a sale, no matter what they clicked on last. It's about measuring what truly influenced them. So, we'll leave you with this thought. The next time you're looking at your marketing dashboard, ask yourself, am I just reading the last page of the story here? Or do I see the whole picture? What is my data really telling me about how my customers find me? And what hidden growth drivers might I be missing out on? The answer to that could unlock everything.